The number 44 is attached to a lot of things. Things like the 44 Magnum, Vicks 44. Famous athletes such as Reggie Jackson, Hank Aaron, and Jerry West have all worn 44. Jay-Z even has an album called 44. Well, you get it. It still has a number 44 in it. Quick side note, did you know Jay-Z did a song called 44 Fours where he rhymed the word 4, 4, and 4 44 times? It was a follow-up to the song called 22 Twos. That's right, people, research. I did it just for you. It is also the number of times that my gold GoldMez fell on his face. Now, while this 14 karat gold-plated head is absolutely beautiful to look at, its functionality is about as questionable as the bat brick. But instead of complaining about it, I decided to do something about it. Because as anyone knows, if life throws you lemons, you pick it up and you throw it right back at them and you say, "No, thank you, sir. I have sensitive tooth enamel." And with that, my name is Paige and welcome to the GoldMez Repaint and Lens Removal Tutorial. Okay, the first thing that I want to get out of the way is I have zero customizing experience. The reason why I'm telling you guys this is because I want you to feel comfortable with the fact that if I can do this, you guys can do it. The biggest thing that you could probably take away from this is this modification is non-destructive, meaning once you do it, you're going to have the ability to swap out with your other figures while not ruining your current figure. Now, obviously, we have the 14K head right here. It's gold plated, but the problem is that it's very heavy. And when you put it on your figure, you're actually doing some kind of balancing act, trying to keep the pose along with the weight of the head. Now, as far as functionality, this is the better head of the two. This is the alternate gold plastic head that comes with the figure. The problem is that it looks like it's plastic. And when you put it in comparison to the 14 karat gold head, there's a little bit of a drop off. So what we want to do is we want to take that aesthetic of the gold head and mash it over to the plastic head so we can have something that's kind of in the middle. So for the first part of this tutorial, we're going to be working on the lens removal portion. This is where we're going to take these lenses out and exchange them. I chose the Agent GoldMez because it's black and I figured that the colors would contrast each other a little bit better. Like I said before, this is a non-destructive modification. The biggest thing that you guys need to take away from this is make sure you take your time. There's little crevices and grooves in the eyes and parts of them are glued down that we'll go over a little bit later, but you want to make sure you take your time so you don't mess up your figure. So the materials that you're going to need for this project are going to go as follows. Obviously, you're going to need the head, small plastic bag with a zipper. That helps the head not get water in it. And then you're going to have the tools. The tools I'll go over in a little bit. You actually don't need those 3 tools. There was one that actually worked out a little bit better. Patron. I guess you need Patron for this as well. No, you don't. You don't need Patron, but you will need a cup to be able to put the bag inside after you've warmed up the water, let it soak, and help work the plastic a little bit. Some of this is going to be off the cuff because I lost a lot of the audio that I had, so we're going to just be voicing over some of this stuff, but I'll try to go over it as we did. It's going to be a little bit more looser than usual. So this is a tool that I actually saw in the group. It was I guess it referred to more of an eyeglass tool. These are smaller tools that you would be able to actually get inside the lens. Personally, I used another tool that was a little bit better. The reason why is because, as you can see, this has a little bit of a bevel or sharp edge. You don't want to cause any plastic damage. This is actually a tool I got from my girlfriend. I guess it's a beauty tool, some kind of zip popper or something like that. But the thing is it has a pointed edge and then it has this rounded edge. This worked out well for me because what I was able to do was take the pointed edge, kind of pry into parts of the eye that were a little bit glued down, and then use that rounded edge to kind of go around the eye and break up any of the plastic or glue that was set inside of that eye. Like I said, there's a lot of crevices and grooves in there, and if you do it this way, less destructive to your figure. We're going to use the hot drop method, cheap plug, and we're going to warm a cup of water for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then you're going to take your head and you're going to dunk it in there. I usually check it every 15 to 20 seconds. The reason why is because as you work, that plastic is going to become more pliable and you don't want it to lose certain parts of the form. It'll always go back, but you don't want to mess it up any more than you have to. Like I said before, that beauty tool, that's going to be your friend. What I did was I took that pointy end and I tried to make a little bit of a gap, but this one was so pliable that I was able just to take that rounded edge. And like I said, what you're going to do is slowly work around the eye. That part right there, that is a glue part, and that's where you're going to get the most resistance. So you need to make sure, once I remove the lens, you'll be able to see, but you need to make sure you take specific care around that lower edge part. As you can see, very easy. Just make sure you take your time and go slow. I sped this up so you guys don't have to be bored sitting there watching me. I think it probably took me about 1 to 2 minutes. And as you can see, lifting up gently as you go around. Now, right there, that is where that glue spot is. That's where you really need to be careful, as you can see. And there you go. The good thing about it is it may have taken a chunk out of that plastic, but it's so far in the eyelid, you're not going to notice any damage. And this was actually a very good piece, to be honest with you. And as you can see in that lower part right there, that's where the glue is. And that is your trouble spot. Make sure you are very careful around that area when you're trying to remove it. That looks weird. I like it though. This is pretty much the same thing. I just took the Agent GoldMez and put it in there. I just liked how the steam was coming off the cup. A little bit of footage on that. Now, this isn't trying to be redundant, but I wanted to also show you guys the translucent eye as well. Same process. I warmed up the water to about 2 to 3 minutes, and then I dunked the head in a plastic bag 15-20 seconds. Probably took me about 3 to 4 times. Took the head out, and then, like I said before, used that beauty tool to actually wedge in between the eye. Again, that's where the sticking point is on that one. As you can see, the glue spots seem to be in the same places for each one of the eyes. Like I said before, make sure you take care when doing the translucent eye. It's different than the solid gold plastic eye. It's almost a little bit flimsier, and so I didn't have any trouble cracking or breaking it, but you could tell that there were certain spots that you need to really be careful with. As you can see, we popped this out pretty fast, and there is a little bit of remnants. This was a quick job. I wanted to just try to hurry up and get this video out to you guys, but I'm sure if you took your time, took an X-Acto knife, you'd be able to break off some of those chunks of remaining brown plastic or glue that's in there. Again, like I said, key is to make sure you take your time with this. Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for, the payoff. So as you can tell, lenses are removed from each one of these, and this actually makes this a pretty good customizing option because, like I said, you can swap out lenses from different figures if you have them. That's what makes this line so versatile. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the black lenses from the Agent and we're going to place them in there. I didn't do any kind of special modification. All I did was take them and pop them right back in there. And as you can see, I think they look pretty good. I love how translucent they look. If you look close enough in pictures and some other things, you can see they have honeycombs. But as you can see, these are very secure. You pop them in, they stay in, and you can easily remove them. That's what makes this, like I said, such a great customizing option. It just adds a little bit more depth to each one of these characters that you have. Now, the gold head, the lenses will not fit on those, obviously. They're a little bit too small, and I think that's one piece anyway, so you're not going to be able to pop out those solid gold lenses. I didn't want to try, so on to painting. I think this is actually a really cool customizing option. I got this metallic gold paint. I guess you can get the number there too as well. Pause it if you like. Metallic gold, I actually got that from Walmart. It's a couple bucks. Got some tape. I got a little stand here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to spray paint the head. I took a little bit of sticky tack or putty and I put it inside the head there. Yep. I left the antennas separate because I wanted to paint those on the ground so I'd be able to get full coverage. Place the head on the stick. Vlad the Conqueror. Oh, no fall. Painter's tape as well. All I did was put those on the edges of the antennas. I wanted to leave the balls. That sounded bad. I wanted to leave those untouched because I needed to have those with mobility when I placed them back in the socket. So place a little bit of tape over those antenna balls and you'll be good. Yep. And I left them on the cardboard there. I'm just watching myself right now. So metallic paint, make sure you shake up your paint a lot. This is gonna break up any of that paint. Make sure it's all coating out even. And what I do is I gather it. I use about a light touch, very light and sweeping motion. And what you're gonna do with this is you're going to make sure that you do a couple test sprays, just kind of bleed the line a little bit. I used it on the antennas just for a light coat. And then all you're gonna do is you're gonna sweep. And when you sweep, I move around a lot. That way you're able to get thin coats and better coverage. I don't know if I'm gonna show it in this video or not, but what I do is I'll do, across, I'll do a different angle and I'll sweep across. As you can see, totally missed and was hitting my hand. That was fun to get off. Make sure you wear gloves, mask, all that stuff. But the main objective is to try to get as many angles as you can, because as you can see, that little piece has lots of crevices that you need to make sure that the paint gets in there. Another quick thing about this is unless you seal this, after a while this paint comes off. So I guess you can consider this a non-destructive customizing option as well. I've painted a couple of these so far, and I'd say, depending on how much you handle it, usually about a week or two, some of this paint will start rubbing off and you'll actually get to the original color that the head was before. And as you can see, I probably did about 2 or 3 coats on this, and I think it looks pretty good. Coverage is nice. All the cracks and crevices are filled in. Again, you don't want to make sure you spray down. You want to do sweeping motions. That's what's going to give you an even coat of paint all around. And even with these lenses spray painted, they're still able to come out. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. So total drying time for this was about 2 to 3 hours. And your total project time will probably be about 4 to 5 hours. Overall, you're just going to be waiting for the paint to dry. And if you guys remember what I told you about the antennas, not to paint over them, this is the reason why. Because once you put them back in there, if you have a significant amount of paint buildup, they won't fit, for one, and then 2, they won't articulate the way they should. But overall, this is the look that you're gonna get. Again, this is about 2 to 3 coats of spray paint. I think it gives a nice muted look. It's not as gloss or glary as the 14K one is. And you can also swap out the eyes. That spray paint does not have any effect on them sticking in there. As you can see, I just took that beauty tool, stuck it in the corner of the eye where nobody can see it, and pop it right out. Same thing with the other one, corner of the eye, pop it right out. And take the black lenses and I'll put those in there for you. And they easily pop in. And remember, I was telling you about the brown remnants that was on there. I don't even think you can see that because they're stuck in the eye sockets. So if you don't feel comfortable taking an X-Acto knife and trying to shave away that stuff, that's an option for you too. And let me just give you guys a look at it in lighting. Man, I really love what they did with those translucent lenses. You can see the honeycombs in them. I think that just adds to the look of this. And let's see. So the goal was to try to get it to as close as this, and it's not going to be exact, but I would rather swap that out to not have a heavy head and to actually have a head that doesn't reflect light as much or show too much of a glare. It just kind of limits your options. And this is just another option. I think they did a very good job with the gold one. I just think that this gives you a different look. And this is what it'll look like on the body. I think I would love to try to repaint the neck, the wrists, and the shoes maybe next time, but I guess we'll have to see about that. But this is what you're gonna get. You could probably swap out the lenses for the gold one too, have like a rose gold one. A lot of options with this. But anyway, this is the first time I've ever done this, and so I felt pretty comfortable with it. I hope you guys were able to learn something from it as well. Again, options. It's just customizing it to what you want to do. Again, hope you guys had a good time. Thanks for dropping by. What the